Hey guys, how y'all doing? This is already like the second or third time trying to make this video. I keep getting interrupted with phone calls and notifications that keeps interrupting my video. So hopefully I can make this one and make it through. But anyways, I want to go ahead and wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I hope everybody's having good holidays. They just started. I know it was Thanksgiving last week. It was my birthday as well. So I'm doing real good. I'm happy. Everybody, thank you for the compliments, and I just want to go also to all you haters and trash talkers. Hey guys, I'm doing it. I'm making money. I'm having fun, and I'm living the dream. So you know what? To all you guys, I don't care. Move on. So, anyways, I want to go ahead and talk about the title, guys. Pros and cons of RV transporting. I want to get down to basically what it is. It's being brutally honest. There is no sugarcoating it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about what some of the things I'm going to talk about. And one of the things that guys ask me all the time, I get the comments all the time, is can I make $1,000 a week? It seems to be kind of like the magic number everybody wants to kind of make. And the simple answer is, it depends on what you think a week is. So, if you're talking a week as a 4 or 5 day work week, no, ain't gonna happen, guys. You can make $1,000, but you're gonna have to factor in your expenses, your fuel, and by the time you factor all that in, it's not gonna be $1,000. Okay. For example, we have runs that we make here, 1,200 miles. Right now, my buddy told me, Paul, that he gets paid $1,600 to come down from Indiana to Houston. So, that right there is basically a 3-4 day run, and I'm talking about going up and coming back. It takes between 3 and 4 days, 3.5, somewhere around there. So, go and come back. That's including your deadhead miles and everything. $1,600. I already know how much fuel it takes me. It takes me $500. I'd have $1,100, but out of there I got to take out money that I need for other stuff, and that wouldn't allow me to clear $1,000. Okay, so to be clearing $1,000, I would need to do either another small run, or I'd have to do another run altogether like that. And since I work for the dealership and I do dedicated runs, there are no small runs if you're a dedicated driver. In my case, it's different. I'm not going to say that I don't do small runs. As a matter of fact, I do less runs up to the factory. It's a different scenario. I don't want to bring it up because it's nothing to do with what the normal average guy is asking me and what they are expecting or what they're going to run into. So you can do small runs. But if you have a dedicated run, you get lucky enough, whether the company gives you a run back and forth from your house, more than likely you're still not going to be able to do 4 or 5 days and make and clear $1,000. It's going to be very hard. Okay, so realistically speaking, I have estimated it would take you about 7 days. So it would be done in a week, but it's going to be 7 days. So that's first con, guys. Just being honest, it is what it is. So you want to be in your own business, that's a pro. The con to being in your own business means usually you have to put in more hours than the average guy who works for XYZ company. You're going to have to put in some extra time. So that's the way it goes. The other con, guys, is which company to work for. I get that question all the time. Which company should I work for? Which company should I go work for? Guys, it's not like the trucking industry where they actually have, everything out there for you to throw out there. I know Horizon throws a lot of their stuff as far as, they give you all the pretty stuff that you want to hear about. The trucking companies, they at least will tell you and give you choices. Here, you don't get that. Not all the other companies. A lot of those other companies are small mom and pops. They're not as advanced in technology. They don't have the technology that Horizon has. so they don't have the capabilities to give you, you know, a real nice website with all the questions and answers you have, right? And yeah, sometimes they do have the drivers that are recruiters calling you or talking to you, and they'll give you explanations. But at the end of the day, guys, you're going to have to do some research on your own. You're just going to have to get in with somebody that'll take you, and then you're going to have to go out there and feel your way. What do I mean by that? You're going to have to go, when you go to the factories and you go up there to Elkhart and Goshen and you're filling up with fuel and you stop at one of those stops, you're going to run into drivers. And guys, if you're not the talking type, you need to start becoming that, because what you need to do is you need to see a guy that's pumping fuel and you see a sign on the side of his truck that says Indiana Transport. You need to go up to that guy and says, hey dude, just wanted to talk to you a little bit and ask you about, you know, how do you like it or don't like it working for that company. And that's what you're going to have to do. That's a con. Why? Because I'll give you an example. Horizon, and I got this information from my friend Paul, who I met when we were working at Horizon together, when we started at the recruiting office. He started working for them. Worked for them. I left, and he continued to work for them. But I found out from him that some of his loads dried up, and they dried up in the middle of the month. And this is what's going on, guys. What happens is, in the RV industry, is at the end of the month, and today's the 30th of November, so example today, they are running around like busy bees all over the place in Indiana, up at the factories, getting all the trailers out. Why? Well, all the factories have a rule. The rule is you have to have all the trailers off of their yards by the last day of the month. So all the trailers have to be out the door by midnight tonight. So what happens? The RV transport company is going to go pull all the trailers out. They have to. They have no choice. And they're going to put them everywhere, guys. Overflow lots, wherever their yard's at. You know, Horizon had overflow lots everywhere. So they would have these lots. They would put all their trailers in. So you do that. They do that. They have all these trailers that need to be delivered. But they're in such a hurry. They want to get them all out, guys. And they were all behind as it is to top it off. I don't know if they still are now. Sometimes it slows down in the wintertime. But what happened is they're hiring drivers left and right. They're just, you know, getting as many as they can get in. And their concern is not that you have enough runs. They don't care that Manny has, 2 or 3 runs a week. They just care that we want to get all the trailers out of the yard. So what happens is, during the middle of the month, if you're not one of those experienced drivers that, you know, they can work with, and if you've been there for a while, sometimes they'll cut you a little slack. But, you know, for the rest of them, my friend, for example, he ended up getting dried up. He didn't have enough runs to make for the rest of his month, during the middle of the month. Because why? They pushed all the trailers out at the beginning of the month, and the inventory shrunk. You know, they dried up. They didn't have enough. So that's when it starts, you know, roller coastering. You get a lot of runs at the beginning of the month, and then towards the middle of the month it starts, you know, second, third week, middle of second, the beginning of the third week, somewhere around in those areas, you might be running dry until it starts getting back again towards the end of the month. Now the good news is, you know, they're pushing out RVs more than ever. You know, the silver lining between the hurricanes, you know, Harvey, Irma, all these hurricanes we had, guys, that we just meant more trailers for everybody, especially for the ones down south. But at the end of the day, they seem to have this situation where they just hire as many drivers as they can. They don't really care. They're just trying to fill the numbers and try to get their loads out. And at the end of the day, you're the one that suffers, because then you may not be able to get all the loads you need to make your living. So you're going to have to figure that out, guys. You're going to have to go out there and talk to these people, talk to the drivers, talk to some new drivers, talk to some old drivers, see what they say, figure it out. My buddy ended up moving. He went to Indiana Transport. Why? Because he told me, he goes, dude, I wanted more consistent runs. I wanted more consistency. He goes, I wanted some runs to come down to my area more consistent. So Indiana Transport offered him that. It was a couple of cents less, he said, but at the end of the day, he didn't have to deal with a lot of the, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. For example, they have a lot of stuff they want you to do as a driver for Horizon. You know, you got to take pictures of the unit when you pick it up. You got to take pictures when you drop it off. You got to keep calling them in every day by noon. You have to do all these. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, and I'm not just saying you don't have to do some of that stuff, but they are probably one of the ones that require so much that you have to do that if you forget one thing, you know, it could cost you, it could hurt you, and at the end of the day, you want it to be simpler, and that's what he wanted. And Indiana Transport, he says it's worlds different. It seems to be more down to earth to him. That's what he likes, and he got more consistent runs to going back home to Dallas area, which is where he's from, to Texas. And on top of all that, he says that they were giving him runs to run locally from Dallas to Houston because he was running FEMA trailers down south, and he was running them out there to the Gulf Coast. So he ended up getting a lot of local runs where he didn't even have to go to Indiana for a few times. And he said he liked that, but he says the money was in going up to the factory and picking up, you know, the trailers to bring back down. That's where he made more money, and he even told me that. So that's where that's why you got. It's going to be a con, guys. When you start with somebody, it may not be the right fit for you, but you're going to have to go out there and develop relationships and meet people and get to know guys. That way they can figure out and tell you. You know, that's how you're going to tell somebody the same thing. I'm telling you, right? But you know, I don't have experience with Indiana Transport or Synergy or Starfleet or any of the other companies out there. So, you know, best bet is get in with one of the reputable ones like Starfleet or Horizon. See if that's a good fit for you. If it is, great. If it isn't, start talking to some of the other drivers to figure it out. You know, don't give up, but you know, don't be the quiet one. You're going to have to get out there and talk a little bit with some of these people and figure it out. So that's another con. The other con, guys, is maintenance and service on the truck. The fact of the matter is, these trucks aren't going to run in the same length of time before they need to be serviced like a semi. You're going to have to change oil sooner. You're going to have to change fuel filters sooner. You're going to have to change tires sooner. It's just a fact of life. The good news is it doesn't cost as much. You know, one tire, you got to put 10 tires on a semi. You only have to put 4 or 6, depending if you're driving a dually or you know, truck like mine. So, you know, you're not going to have as much. You're not going to spend as much on a tire, but you're going to have to probably get more tires more often than you will than a semi will. Okay, so that's another thing. The pro to this side, it's your truck. Most of the time, most guys, I'm not saying everybody, because you see a lot of guys that, if you go up to the factory, you'll see a lot of these guys, man, they got these trucks all set up like a work truck. And that's what they do. They use their truck for work. But in my case, I try not to do that. I like to be a little bit more low-key. I don't like to let everybody know that this is a work truck, because it is my personal vehicle. So I like to use my truck when I'm not using it for work. And guess what, guys? I do. And you know what? That saves me a payment. I don't need to go make 2 payments. Remember, if you have a semi, it works. But at the end of the day, when you come home, you got to find a place to park it if you're an owner-operator. If you're a driver, you leave it at the yard. But if you're an owner-operator, sometimes they'll let you leave it at the yard. Sometimes they won't. And in most cases, a lot of guys, you have to have a place to park it and your trailer, because you usually own your truck and your trailer. And on top of that, guys, you know, you're going to have to park it somewhere or pay somewhere to park it. So it's not always that easy. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but it just depends on the scenario. Like I said, some places will let you park their truck in their yard, some places won't. I don't know. Every company's different, but at the end of the day, when you're an owner-operator, guys, even if you're a driver, a company driver, you can't take that truck home and then go run down to Wendy's and drive through. It ain't gonna work that way. You know, you're gonna have to come and have somebody pick you up, and you're gonna have to have a vehicle at the house, whether you have another truck or pickup or whether you have a car. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have another payment. And at least in my case, I don't. I have one truck payment, covers both my personal and my business. So, you know, the advantage of that is I filled up with diesel a couple of days ago. I didn't know I was going to be pulling this trailer today, but guess what? I'm going to write off all that diesel Why? Because I'm using it right now to pull this trailer. So, you know, I use that tank I filled up, went around in personal errands, did a few things here and there, and now I'm out here doing this on the road, and it still counts for business because I'm using it. So that's a pro and a con, guys. You know, so you can look at it from two different points. So that's one other thing, guys. And one of the other pros that I say, but it's a con too. It goes both ways. This is your own business. Remember, nobody's telling you don't spend that money. Your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your partner, nobody's here to watch over you and say, Manny, you can't have that. Don't be spending money at the restaurant, okay? Don't go eat because you need to save money. I need you to make sure you take a sandwich and put it in your ice chest and take it with you. Eat the sandwich that's there because that's going to save you money. Nobody's telling you, Manny, tonight you need to stay in the truck because you need to save money. Don't be staying in the hotels every night. Nobody's there watching you guys. It's up to you. So what does that mean? Well, that means you've got to control your expenses. And if you want to make more money, it's more you know, it's going to be more time in the back seat. That's going to be more time eating out of, you know, the ice chest that you carry your foods in. You know, less time spending there at the Loves or the Flying J and making, you know, time there and getting junk or food or junk food or whatever you buy. So you gotta watch all that, guys. You gotta watch your expenses. So that's a pro, but it's a con. You know, you make your own money, but at the end of the day, you gotta watch your money. And you know, some people are good at it, some people aren't. So that's a pro, but at the end of the day, it can be a con to you too. And then at the same time, again, your expenses for your maintenance. You know, a lot of guys. I'll give you an example. We have a guy down, one of the guys, the driver's guys, who has a Dodge Dually 16 Cummins. Beautiful truck. I love the truck. The other day I told him I was changing my oil. I had to go change it because I had 8,000 miles. He looked at me kind of funny and says, wow, dude, you take care of your truck. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, oh, well, I usually go 6 or 7 trips before I change my oil. And I was like, damn, dude. I was thinking in my head, are you kidding me? You know how many miles you're putting in before you change the oil? I mean, think about it. You're doing 2,400 mile runs. It's 1,200 miles each way, and he's doing 2,400 miles, and he's going 6 or 7 times before he's doing that. Think about it, guys. He's doing it somewhere around 15, 16, 17,000 miles before he changes his oil. That's longer than a semi. Semis usually, I think you go 10 or 12, and he's doing it 15, 16. What does that tell you? That truck ain't going to last long, and he's going to wear it out. And as a matter of fact, you know, again, it goes to show you he wasn't keeping up with his maintenance. He told me that he had a bent rim. He had a shaking in his front end of his truck, but he ignored it. Didn't pay attention to it. Then he went out and changed all the rims on his truck. He put new rims on it. Looks real nice. I like the way it looks. But the damage had been done by the previous rim that he had on the truck because the rim was bent and he didn't address the issue with the vibration. Well, it turns out what it did is it actually caused his wheel hub, the bearings in the wheel hub, to go all bad. And he ended up stuck in the road in Illinois near Salem on the side of the road. A couple of $1,000s later, he got it fixed. But guess what they told him? They said, well, yeah, you had a bent rim at one time. He goes, yeah, I did. I found out when I changed out my rims. They told me the rim was bent. And I just kind of looked at it like, dude, well, why didn't you take care of the vibration? But, you know, he never did. He kept thinking it was the tires. Well, since he didn't address that issue, they also told him that he's eventually going to have the same problem with his other side. He's going to have to change the hub on the other one, on the other side. But he didn't want to do it because he just didn't have the money. Because he had just blown a couple of grand up north. Again, he didn't do his maintenance. He didn't pay attention to his truck. Didn't listen to the truck. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be the truck whisperer, but you got to pay attention to what your truck's doing. And if you feel something not right, I mean, like right now, I know when my truck's not running right. I know when there's something wrong with it, and I go take care of it. I knew my transmission was kind of not feeling right up to par. I had like 60, 70,000 miles, and they told me that I could go 100,000 miles, but I didn't take a chance. I went straight to Ford and had them do a service. They did a flush. They did a filter change on my transmission. And guess what, guys? As soon as I got the truck back and I started pulling again and ran around, I noticed the difference. But you know what? I probably shouldn't have waited. I should have got it done when I had 50,000. But you know, I live and learn. And you know, they told me, they go, "Oh no, you don't need to do anything. You can go 100,000 miles on your intervals." So, you know, I kind of felt that in the truck, and I felt it just not right, and that's what happened. I ended up taking it, having that was the last fluid I hadn't changed out in my truck. All my fluids have been changed out. I've already changed them out at least once. Differentials, transmission, radiator. I've done everything, guys. Even my brake fluid, I've already had that flushed out once. So I've already taken care of all the fluids, guys. And guess what? The truck runs like a top. Right now, I have no problems. It's running, cruising at 70. I'm getting great gas mileage, and it's running right like it should. So that's another thing, guys. You got to keep up with that. So thought I'd bring this all up. You know, I mixed in some of the cons with the pros. You know, the pros, you get to pick and choose when you want to go and come. You can also pick and choose where you want to go. That's one of the pros. You know, you can take time off if you want to go spend time with your family. Just again, you're not going to make a paycheck. You know, you got to plan on that, save your money. So, you know, there's pros to that too, guys. The other thing is, you know, if you find a company that can give you a dedicated run, that'll get you more time at home, and you don't want to spend 7-10 days out on the road. You know, that's one suggestion. That's just the way it is, guys. You know, I'm just trying to let everybody know that's what you're going to have to do. One of the things that guys have asked me, another pro or con, should I buy a dually or not buy a dually? Guys, if you're not going to do tow and haul, if you're not going to put a gooseneck behind it, I really, till this day, don't see the benefit of having a dually if you're not going to do any of those things. The pay to pull heavier trailers is cents. It's not dollars. And that extra money doesn't really pay for itself when most of the trailers, most of the thing I see dualies pulling, transporters pulling, are travel trailers, guys. You know what? I can get the job done just as easily as I can with my truck, which is not a dually, and I don't have that extra expense of 2 more tires, and I don't have that extra expense of having to go find a place that has been willing to rotate my tires, and I don't have that extra expense of trying to rotate a dually, because it costs a lot more money, guys, and you gotta have a special place, because not everywhere can take a dually to do rotating of tires. And in most cases, guys, you're also gonna have to remember you're gonna have to probably flip out the tires. In other words, pull the tires off of your rims, because remember, your offsets are different from the front to the back, and you can't always take the one in the front and stick it in the back, and you always have to watch out for those things, especially if you have custom rims on your truck, or you know, aluminum rims. You might be able to get away with it with steel wheels, but I don't know about, you know, custom rims or aluminum rims. So is it worth it? And this is my opinion. I don't think so. You know what? It doesn't seem it. The argument for the dually tires is that it provides more stability when you're pulling. Well, it only provides you more stability when you're pulling a fifth wheel, because that's where the weight goes on top of your hit on your axle, and that's where you have weight on top, like a fifth wheel I have right now. It's not going to help you much when you're pulling a trailer. Your travel trailer's weight is going to be coming off your bumper, not over the top of your bed like it is on a fifth wheel, which is where the argument comes in that they want to have more stability. They have an extra tire, it's wider. It means that the load is more stable. But guys, I haven't pulled with a dually as a transporter, never. And I've put, you know, I haven't put no million miles, but I can tell you right now, the last 2 trucks I had, you know, between that one and this one, I've, you know, probably logged on 300,000-400,000 miles and never had a problem. You know, I'm pulling a fifth wheel right now behind me. I got no problems. It's working great, running smooth. You know, I wouldn't know the difference if I was pulling with a trailer, with a dually, or pulling with a single rear wheel. And there's going to be guys there that are going to hate, they're going to argue with me. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm living proof. I'm doing it. I've already done it with these kind of trucks. And you know, if you're not going to be a CDL guy, if you're not going to be CDL commercial, if you're going to try to stay under the 26,000 pounds, it doesn't make sense. I mean, all you're doing is just hurting yourself in the game of what you can pull, because when your truck weighs more, that means you can't have as much weight on your trailer. And it's a seesaw. The more your truck weighs, the less you can pull on the RV side. If your truck doesn't weigh as much, you can put more weight on the RV, because that's what they're measuring. They're measuring two of them combined. If you're making 26,000 pounds between both of them, between your dually and your trailer, you can only add so much, you know. And the GVWs on all dualies is 14,000 pounds, which means the GVW on your trailer can only be 12,000 pounds. That's it. You can't pull anything more than that. So that's my argument for that. That's a pro or con. So hey guys, you know, the other con too is that you wear out your trucks faster than you do a semi. You know, trucks I've heard of, you can get 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 miles on them, and you can do that if you maintain it properly. It ain't gonna happen to the guy that's doing 6-7 trips before an oil change, but you know, I think I can do it with this truck. The way I've been taking care of it and keeping up with it, I think it'll be easily 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 miles before I have to do any major service on the truck. I've been taking care of it, and I really do. I keep on top of it. That's one of my priorities. So yeah, you're not going to get the lifespan of a semi than you would of a pickup. But, again, it all depends on you. You're going to take care of it, or you're just going to beat it to hell and don't care. So anyways, guys, hope this all helps. Hope this makes your decisions easier, as far as whether you're thinking about coming into the industry and being an RV transporter or not. And I'll be coming out with some more videos, guys, on some of the updates I've made on my truck that may help some of the other guys when it comes to making decisions on, you know, tires and all sorts of other stuff that I've done to my truck, that I can tell you whether it's good or bad, or what my results have been. So y'all take care. Y'all have good holidays, guys. Be careful out on the road, and be safe. Hope y'all have a good one, man. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.